Hello again. Welcome back to the Flyin podcast. I'm your host, Matt Mitchell, here with my co host, Steven Masley.
What's up, guys?
So, this week we're getting into it right away with the Eagles versus the Jaguars, Dougie P's return. So, let's just start with your initial thoughts here. Get right into it. What do you think?
So the Jaguars are coming off a season where they had the first overall pick in the draft. They only had 3 wins, but this team's a little bit different. They already have 2 wins. They're 2-1 on the season. They're looking like a way better team than last year. I'll tell you that. And I think it's mostly we'll give a lot of credit to it toward Doug Pederson because Urban Meyer wasn't the best head coach in the NFL. We could
No kidding.
probably all agree on that. Things off the field, it wasn't
Didn't
the
quite
best.
pan out.
Didn't quite pan out as he did at Ohio State. Not that he won a national championship there or anything, but
Yeah, now irrelevant.
no, this is a young team that is scary. They coming off a big win or 2 big wins actually. One shutting out the Colts and then beating the Chargers 38-10. Like that's a huge win.
Chargers are a
And
great team too.
they are a great team.
I mean, obviously, just not even just going off of last season. I've watched a couple of their games this year. Their defense looks stout, and their offense, obviously they've got Herbert hurt, but they're a great team that the Jags just beat.
Yeah, and they have a great defense too. I love Derwin James. I love Khalil Mack, and I love Joey Bosa. Even though he got hurt in that game, but they have a decent They have a solid defense, and this is a scary matchup. This is one of those things where you're like, oh, they can't mark them off as a look at the Jags win. They're not that.
Yeah,
type
no,
of game.
it's not going to be that kind of game. I want to say that out right now. First of all, you got Doug Pederson coming back, and obviously, he's been a coach of the Eagles for what was it, 4 or 5 years? I forget how long exactly it was.
Yeah.
But either way, he knows the team. He's played with this team. He knows these guys. He's gonna know our weaknesses, whether we like it or not. Like he doesn't necessarily know our game plan or anything like that, but like he knows where to hit us and he knows where to aim for. You know what I mean? So like, it's not gonna be an easy game. And on top of that, like you said, the Jags aren't a bad team. A lot of people consider them as being one of the lower tier teams, but I don't think that's the case anymore. They have a solid group of receivers, running backs. They've got great weapons on offense. Trevor Lawrence is looking like he can be a really great quarterback in the NFL now that he's not under Urban Meyer anymore. I don't know a whole lot about their defense yet. I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. I know they've obviously got Trayvon Walker and a couple other guys in there. But, it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be another, I hate the word blowout. I hate saying to expect a blowout at any point against any team. But yeah, I know. I'm not saying you can't say it. Sometimes it's fair, but I don't think that that's going to be the case this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than we'd like it to be. Once again, maybe that's my Philadelphia skepticism, or what's the word?
Skepticism.
Skepticism. But it's gonna be a weird game for sure. So with that being said, what do you think our keys to the game are going to be in terms of the Eagles offense?
So offensively, they have a decent D line, and their linebacker Devin Lloyd that went in the first round, who I said earlier this year was less of a linebacker than N'Kobe Dean, but N'Kobe Dean isn't going to tick because Jonathan Gannon hates him. But we're not going into that right now. He just won Defensive Rookie of the Month, and their line's good. They got Josh Allen, obviously the #1 pick in the draft, and they have a couple other guys that they have a way better defense than the Commanders do. I know they showed it over the last 2 games, but they didn't show it against the Commanders week 1. But that happens with young teams, and they have a lot of young talent. And
you mentioning some of those names really just made me remember. Honestly, I kind of forgot how decent their D line is. They've been bolstering that D line in the past few drafts.
Exactly, and so my keys to the game is we got to protect Hurts, and our O line has to show like that. This is where they have to show that they're a top tier O line in the league, because I mean, obviously that's for every game, but if he has time in the pocket, their DBs aren't as talented. they're more mid compared to other teams, and they don't have as much talent there, but they do have good linebackers and a good D line. So my key is to protect Hurts, and if we can establish a run, that would be fantastic. But I think it's gonna be mostly we're gonna have to protect Hurts in the pocket.
I like that take a lot because I also agree with that. I think that Hurts has proven that he has the poise and decision making right now to make the right decisions, make the right throws, and pick people apart. And like you said, if there's any hole in the Jags defense, it's probably the secondary. So, like you said, they've got that great D line. It's going to come down to us keeping Hurts comfortable in the pocket because I think that if you do give him the time to pick them apart like he has been, we're gonna look great again. We're gonna look the way we have every week so far. Obviously, we haven't even talked about it yet, but Hurts won an NFC Player of the Month offensively. He's been killing it, obviously, and once again. Yeah, I agree with you. I've been saying that I would like to see Miles Sanders getting a little bit closer to like 25 carries, but it's seeming like we're gonna keep him generally between like 15 to 18 carries a game. We've got Boston. We might see a little bit of an uprise this game because we do have Boston Scott out. We did pull up Trey Sermon to the active squad. I doubt he'll get much time, but we did bring him up.
Might get a goal line touch because they never
get
get
he might get a goal line touch
because they hate Miles at the
exactly.
goal line.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But yeah, I think that I would love for us to establish the run game. I've been saying that for weeks. I think that it will really help our offense blossom. But if we keep playing the way we're playing, then we keep Jalen Hurts protected. I think it'll be a pretty stellar game from the offense once again.
So another key that you mentioned earlier we're talking about Doug Pederson, obviously, and he knows Jalen and he knows when his tendencies are to run. So he knows what to throw at him during practices when he was the Eagles coach that were stopping him. So I feel like him being able to have that pocket presence is going to be very key because Pederson knows he likes to run, and he has had a tendency in years past. He's shown he's matured this year. Not that I'm saying he doesn't have to run, because he definitely can, but just have to pick his spots. And if he can stay in the pocket and we can get Pederson's going to throw stuff at us that Hurts is going to be like, oh crap, like that's like my weakness. Like, cause when you're the head coach and you like draft a guy like that, and you know his weaknesses. So
yeah. I mean,
that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah, off of that point, I'd like to point out there's a very distinct difference between a scrambling quarterback and a running quarterback. In the past few years, we've seen Jalen Hurts as a running quarterback. So far this season, we're seeing him as a scrambler. Exactly. And the difference between those two things is, you see Jalen Hurts, taking read options all the time, looking to run out of the pocket, and he's not looking downfield. He's just running. And they're giving, even if they give it to him, that's still a running quarterback. Now you're seeing Jalen start to get comfortable in the pocket, sit still until he's forced out of the pocket, and he keeps his eyes downfield and he scrambles if he has to, which is much, much better. It's one of the biggest things I've noticed in his improvement and one of my favorite things about him. So, yeah, we'll have to see with that. Hopefully we can keep him in the pocket. And like you said, and like I said earlier, Doug Pederson knows these guys. He's going to try to hit them in the spots that hurt. And I think that people are going to underrate how much of a factor that's going to be. The fact that Doug Pederson knows our team as well as he does.
Yeah.
He could know something as little as, just like something as small as Brandon Graham overextends with his right arm on most plays. You know what I mean? Like, he knows the little things. So I'm just making an example, that's not a thing or anything, but, he's going to know a lot about our team, and I keep saying it's going to be a close game. So, and I still feel that way. We're just going to have to see the biggest key to our Eagles offense. We've talked about what we want to see from them to get better. And I feel like they've improved on those things and done them very well, like running the ball, play action passes, getting the ball over the middle. They've been doing that much more, and it's been working. So the key to the Eagles offense is just going to be consistency. We have to prove that we're going to stay consistent. We can't go back and forth between being a great team and a mediocre team. And we haven't done that yet. And I hope that we don't, but we have to prove that we're the guys. We're in that position now and we have to do it.
No, I completely agree. And if we're gonna have the stature as like some NFL people have us as number one overall, we have to play like we are, and that goes on both sides of the ball. And defensively, I don't know. I think the Jaguars team might be they have a better offense just because I love T Law. I think Trevor Lawrence is a great quarterback, and he came in to like the draft 2 years ago
Hold on,
as
before you
like
go any further, are you saying that you think the Jaguars' offense is better than ours?
no, better than their defense. That's
Okay,
I
it's
think that's the
it's
star
the
of their
strong
team.
point of their team.
Yeah,
Okay,
the strong point
okay,
of their
I
team.
had to stop you for a second because
No,
I was
no,
like,
no,
"Well,
no, no,
that
no,
might be
no,
a
no.
little far."
No, that's no. We have the number one offense in the league right now. I would not. Even the Bills aren't over us right now. And
Yeah,
that,
sorry. Go ahead. Keep
but
going.
so T Law's coming in as he came into the draft as like an Andrew Luck type prospect, and even ever since he got out of high school, he's been that number one guy. And over the 3 games so far, he has 772 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 1 pick, and he threw that week 1. Ever since then, he's been playing close to, if not as good as a quarterback can play,
Absolutely.
other than
People
Hurts.
aren't giving him quite the appreciation that he deserves right now. I mean, he's only thrown about what is it? About sorry, 1 second. I'd like to do a little comparison. So Jalen Hurts has 916 yards on the season right now, and Trevor Lawrence has 772. So it's about 130 ish, 140 yard difference between the two. And another thing to notice about Trevor Lawrence is that he's completing about 70% of his passes, which is also really good.
Yeah.
And lastly, one last thing to point out is that their offensive line is actually having a great season so far. They've only allowed 2 sacks on the season.
Yeah. Now they
So that's
yeah.
that's going to come into play with how we play our defensive game plan again. So I'm going to use that as a transition to jump into our defensive side of the ball. We saw how we played last week with the front nine and getting to the quarterback. I don't expect that to happen again. I don't think that we're going to have the front four pressure every game like we did last game. Obviously, you're not going to get 9 sacks a game. But I think that it's going to look similar to the first 2 games where we weren't getting much pressure at all. So I want to see a very similar game plan to the way we played the Vikings. I felt that Gannon did a really good job mixing up the coverage schemes of running a mix of man coverage and zone coverage, keeping Kirk Cousins, uncomfortable and making his decision making a little harder. He didn't know what to expect. This is what I want to see against Trevor Lawrence this week. And on top of that, we've always said about the blitzing, even more so because he's a young guy. Blitz, blitz, blitz.
Yeah.
We can play the man coverage in the back when we play the blitzes. And we've seen over time how young quarterbacks tend to do with pressure. Young quarterbacks do not do well under pressure. They're just getting into the league. When you see a 340-pound Aaron Donald sprinting down, Main Street, I'd be worried. So I would like to see us using a bunch of blitzes. I want to see us doing a major mix of plays. I don't want to see us sticking to one game plan. I want to see a major mix of blitzes, man coverage, and zone coverage.
So your point, I think I'm not contradicting. I'm not trying to be opposite, but I do want to make them. I want to switch up plays as much as possible. So I want to try to test not Trevor as much, but the run game, because I think as much as our line has played well, I think we can test them with this D line. And I think if we could shut down the run game and make it so we can play not safe back, but if we can shut down their O line and I think that's the key to the game because Trevor has played so well. I know James Robinson's having a decent season, and I think Travis is better. Travis Etienne, their backup running back right now, I think he's a better guy. But I want to just shut them down. I want to shut down so Trevor can't do anything. I want to mix up coverages so much that that he's just confused. That I want to see the stuff I just want to just do different stunts, different things at the line of scrimmage that make him very confused. And I want to just play back. I want to make him just get confused and have to go to the run. I want them to run the ball on us, and I want to see this game, not us get pressure on the quarterback, but I want to see us shut down the run game that they try to establish.
I agree. You just made a point that I really want to agree with and point back out. You said something about the stunts, and I would love to see us running more stunts. In the game against Minnesota, we didn't really get there with the stunts. Well, we didn't really run a whole lot of stunts, but we didn't really get there until the end of the game. But
Yeah.
when I was watching us run our stunts, it looked really smooth and really well timed. It seemed like we just had good chemistry in terms of how to run the stunts. And like I said, I didn't see a whole lot of it early on. I saw it late and when it really didn't matter that much. So I would love to see more stunts, especially if we're not going to run as many blitzes as I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Just keep them confused.
Yeah.
Like you just said, just keep them confused. You've got a young quarterback that's still trying to figure out the league. Keep his mind wandering. Keep it all over the place. Get him worried.
Yeah.
You're getting pressure on him. He's going to start making mistakes. You shut down the run game. You're forcing this young quarterback to beat you against corners like Slay and James Bradbury. We got to make Trevor Lawrence beat us again. Like I said the same thing with Kirk Cousins. Trevor Lawrence is obviously having a great season. All of their weapons are producing incredibly. You mentioned how great James Robinson's been playing this year with 230 yards. Christian Kirk, they paid him a lot of money, so obviously they're going to use him a lot. He's got 267 yards on the season. They've got a lot of production out of their team so far.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see Lawrence get comfortable and be able to spread that ball around. I want to make him one-dimensional. And I think we're very capable of doing that.
Yeah, and a big loss for us this week that, I know it's not a big name on our defense, but Avonte Maddox playing that slot corner position is it might be a bigger loss than we think, because we haven't not hearing his name is good. I know we have to be
Corner's the only spot on the field you don't want to hear their name called.
Yeah, like the safety, it's not. He just been playing very well, and
Agreed.
I think that my worst fear is that we're gonna be missing him. We're gonna see how good he is when he's gone. You know what I mean? You don't know what you have until it's gone. I think because Christian Kirk is in the slot, I know we'll probably mix up coverages and whatnot to get Bradbury and Slay on him, but that just makes me a tiny bit nervous. And I know it's nothing huge, but
I wouldn't underrate that. Avonte Maddox has been one of the best players on our defense this year, 100%. He's been playing awesome, and I agree that's going to be a big loss. Unfortunately, the one thing I'll disagree with you with is that I don't know if you can say off of whether it's like a don't know what you got till it's gone kind of thing, because honestly, the way I've seen Zach McPherson play in his stead, he hasn't shown me any reason. He hasn't shown me anything wrong. I'll put it that way.
He hasn't shown me anything wrong.
I haven't seen him do anything stellar, but I haven't seen him do anything wrong yet either.
Yeah.
If he has, I haven't noticed it. So
I haven't seen him do anything either.
Yeah. But. So honestly, I think people might underrate Zach McPherson a little bit. He didn't really have a great year last year. I think he was a rookie last year, right?
I believe so. 2 years.
It might be. Yeah, it might be. I'm not sure. But he's a young guy. He's learning, and I've been seeing consistent improvement with him. I think he's awesome depth, and I think that he'll fill in pretty solidly for Avonte Maddox. But it is definitely a big loss to lose Avonte Maddox. I think people don't appreciate him enough. He may be one of the best slot corners in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's always like, oh, that's the third quarter. Well, it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? It's not. There's the weakest point of a strong defense is it's a solid guy. It's a great defense. He's in great company with Bradbury and Slay. They're playing top 3 corners in the league. Both of them are in the top 3, like you mentioned the other podcast. That's nothing to write home about. But yeah, I see this game going. Do you want to make any more points before we see it, or before we predict how this game's going to
go? Honestly, no. I think I've gotten most of the points out. We both feel pretty much the same way, that it's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be as easy as it seems on paper. But I think that once again, we're obviously one of the best teams in the league, and we have all the tools to prevent that from happening.
No. And so what you put in the notes that we were talking about earlier was playing all 4 quarters. And I think this game will take all 4 to win.
Agreed.
And the way I see this game going is my final score is going to be 27-21 us, but I see us winning, getting a stop on defense in the 4 quarter late. So I think the first half's going to be close. I think it's going to be like, I don't know, like 13-7 or something like that, us up. But we just have to, I just want to see us consistently. I hope they consistently show us that they can play all 4 quarters, because they're going to get down to like one possession game. And I think we're going to have to get a stop. We're going to be up, but I think we're going to have to get a stop to win it. And I don't want to come down to that, but I think we have to establish. I hope we blow them out every single week, but I think it's going to come down that this week we're going to have to actually show like we have to put a stop to them.
Right. I like that. And what'd you say your score prediction was going to be?
27-21.
27-21. Okay. Obviously, you know how I feel, and we both agree on how we feel this game's going to go. I think it's going to be close, and I think it's going to come down probably towards the end of the game. Hopefully it doesn't. I'm hoping it's going to come down to us leading with a 2-score lead at the end of the game, and us getting the chance to run the clock out late. I'm going to go with my final score prediction being 31-21.
31-21.
I think it's going to be a close game throughout, and I think that we're either going to score a touchdown or a field goal late to put us ahead, and we'll keep that lead.
Yeah, I just don't want to underestimate this team at all, like, because I think it's maybe the best team that we played so far. I don't
know about that. I think they're definitely up there. I think that I would probably put them in number 2. I think the Vikings are a better team, but it's too early to tell.
Oh, my bad. We played them so we dominated them so much. I'm just like thinking
you kind of forgot they're a good team. You know, they definitely didn't look like it against us.
Kirk Cousins on primetime Monday Night Football. He's great at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. He can't play good in primetime Monday night. He never was able to.
Terrible.
It's just I can't believe I just threw that out the window. But I think what I meant to say is I think they're better than the Commanders, even though they lost to them week 1. I think this team is a halfway decent team, a fringe team if they were to make the playoffs, which I think if they make the playoffs, they get a wild card type spot. I don't know if they're going to take that step this year or not, but Dougie P revenge game, it's anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you on this side, honestly, you can hold me to it if you want, viewers. I honestly think the Jags are going to end up being about an 8-win team, maybe 9. I think they're going to be a good team. I think they might even sneak their way into the playoffs this year. So, once again, bottom line of it all, do not sleep on the Jaguars. They're a decent team. And on top of that, their coach knows all of our weaknesses.
Yeah,
so
that's a weakness for us. That doesn't help us. It's scary.
I think it'll be a tough game. And if they prove me wrong, I'm gonna start feeling very, very confident about this team.
Yeah. And I hope it keeps rolling forward. And I get a sense this week that we're not looking past this game. I don't know if that's what you get as like a Eagles fan.
I feel like everybody's pretty aware. Everybody has it in the back of their mind that it's like, oh, it's the Jaguars. We should win this game. But at the same time, I haven't talked to anybody that's like, well, don't count them out. So
I think they put the league on notice like last week, like killing the Chargers. They literally murdered the Chargers. I know it wasn't everyone was healthy. Keenan wasn't there.
They're 2-1, and in that game that they lost, they only lost it in the last 20 seconds of the game.
Yeah, and that was So
if that weren't the case, they'd be the only undefeated team right with us.
Yeah, well, because of last
night. Because your team lost last night.
We're getting into the picks now.
Another dub in the column for Matthew.
Dub in the column. So
I'm not too great on Sundays, but if you need a Thursday night football pick, I'm your guy.
That's your guy. That's your guy. All right, Matt. What do you got cooking up this week for the Sunday slate?
All right, so for the Sunday slate, I'm gonna start by taking the Lions over the Seahawks -3.5. I think the Lions, like I've said, I think they're a good team. They're playing at home, and I just do not know how to feel about the Seahawks. So I'm pretty confident in that one. My second game is going to be the Vikings over the Saints -3.
The London game.
The London game. I think that the Vikings are a much better team than the Saints. The Saints are playing Andy Dalton this week. They do not have Jameis Winston playing.
And Michael Thomas.
It could go either way with that. You don't know how a team's going to look with a new quarterback. But in terms of the rosters, I just think the Vikings are better than the Saints. So that's why I picked them there.
I forgot Andy Dalton existed, to be honest.
Yeah,
I know, right? I saw today he's starting, but keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Red Rifle. Then finally, my dog of the week. I'm going to take a big game, and I'm going to pick the Ravens over the Bills. I think that Lamar Jackson is playing like an MVP, trying to earn that contract. He's just locked in. I think that the Ravens tend to make stupid mistakes, which would be my downfall here. But I don't know. I just have a weird feeling in my gut saying that the Ravens are going to win this game. I think they're going to put people on notice. And the Bills tend to be a team that are always really good. Or not always, but, the past few years. As good as they are, they randomly lose games in like bad fashion. So I think that this is going to be one of those games, and I think that the Ravens are going to pull it up.
Well, for my first pick, I completely disagree with his last pick. I'm taking the Bills -3.
Ooh.
I think even though Micah Hyde's out, I think they played a tough game against Miami last week. And I don't think the Ravens defense has shown anything like super special to me yet. I think that the Bills are going to be able to move the ball. And I think the Bills D-line is going to be able to get to Lamar. And I think overall they have a better defense and a better offense. So I'll take the Bills on the road. My next pick.
I disagree with that. The Bills. I can't disagree with the Bills being a better roster than anybody.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just got a gut feeling on this one.
Hey, that's very fair. My next pick is going to be the Browns over the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are coming off a win against the Seahawks last week. The Browns are coming off a win against the Steelers. I think the Browns just have they're better defensively, and I get the Falcons' offense is not great, but
honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it's only the Browns are only 1-point favorites. To be honest,
I know it seems like a trappy type game, but I think the Browns just want it more, and I love the way Nick Chubb's running the ball.
Vegas tends to know. I don't know.
They do. They tend to know, but I don't care. I don't care. I know. My underdog of the week. I don't even know. I don't like this head coach, but I do like their roster. I like their defense. It's gonna be the Broncos over the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Raiders are gonna go 0-4 to start off the season. I know it's how can they lose again?
Crazy to think,
They just haven't showed me anything good. And I know the Broncos offense has looked so bad, but Daniel Hackett, please get it together. Like Russ isn't that bad. I just don't know, but I like their defense a lot. The Raiders have not shown me anything super impressive.
They're two very weird teams. Yeah, there's no saying exactly where they actually stand.
Like the Raiders, should have looking at their weapons, you would think they're like, oh, they're gonna be a top 5 offense, and then you're like, they haven't really done much. Like Devontae Adams is not getting the ball thrown to him when he's like wide open, and Derek Carr's like not looking his way in some clips, and I'm like, well, Josh McDaniels, I don't know.
I don't know how you missed Devontae Adams, but
I don't know either. But anyway, yeah, I'm going with the Broncos as my last pick. I'll take the money line. I don't even need the +2.5. They cover.
I lose. Like that.
But so let's go Birds, baby. Feeling a good week.
Man. There you have it. That's our preview for the week. We're hoping for a big Eagles dub against Doug Pederson, ruin his homecoming. Once again, reiterating, please clap for this man when he enters the stadium.
Yeah, please. We love him. Okay,
we love him here. I don't care. I don't care if you don't like him. We love him.
There's a statue outside of our stadium with him in the picture running the Philly special. Can you please just no one boo him. No one should boo him.
Give Pederson his respect, but we want to make him leave the day feeling a little bit down because we want to come out with a dub, obviously. So, yeah. All right, there you have it. There are our picks. There's everything going, and yeah, we'll be back next week early on, probably Monday, with a review of the game.
Yes, sir.
And then back later in the week with another preview of the next game.
Hopefully I keep the smile on my face going, man.
Hope so. I would
The
not
audience
like to come on here with a frown.
The audience is not ready for what I'm going to be angry at. They never got the chance yet. They don't even know
Just
me.
wait till you see an angry Maz. You don't want to see Masley when he's angry.
I won't get mad if we don't play. If we play really crappy, like I'll just call it out. But we haven't, so I'm happy.
We haven't done it yet, so hey, I have no problem with it. I like being calm and relaxed watching the games.
I love it. One more shout out. Congratulations, AJ Brown, for having a baby boy. Congrats on that. The Phillies, could you get your crap together so you can make the playoffs? I know you won.
Agreed.
This is before the second game in the National Series. They suck. We just got swept by the Cubs.
Classic Philadelphia fashion. You know how it is.
You're disgusting, Phillies. Like, have some heart. Like, literally, like, have any heart in you to try to win a game against this crappy. They're not even trying.
Crazy. I can't believe they're actually even in the situation that they're in right now. But
come on, we haven't been in the playoffs in a decade. Come on.
I'm ready for a playoff win. That's all I know. But anyway. All right, guys. This has been the Flyin in Style podcast. I'm your host, Matt Mitchell, again with Stephen Masley. And we will see you guys next week. Go Birds.
Go Birds.